w- do you feel optimistic about how the community has set itself up next 5 years post COVID? Do you think that um, a
Ooh,
lot of
you mean from the
small
business side?
from the business side, do you think there will be a lot more mom and pop stores, or do you see this place becoming, more corporatized by, like bigger chain restaurants and um
um, I've actually had this discussion with a few other restaurant friends of mine and other chefs. As much as we would like to believe that mom and pops are gonna, usher in the next wave of creative foods or whatnot in small communities, including the SGB, it's looking more and more likely that larger corporations and wealthier restaurant groups with exploiting corporate tax benefits are the ones that are going to take over pretty much every property that's for lease right now.
mhm.
You can already see this with, God, what was it? You can already see this with like some barbecue restaurants taking over any spots. I think, God, I want to say in Pasadena there were a few spots that were taken over recently.
Mhm.
No, in Old Town Pasadena, a lot of restaurants have shut down. Right, Pop Champagne Bar is gone. Um, I think the Tea House Chato, or no, it was like an English tea house, so not Chato. That one's gone. Um, but nothing has taken over yet. Nothing has taken its place. But when you think about who's got the resources for something like Old Town Pasadena, it's gonna be um, it's gonna be those who already have the money. So in the long run, the rich are just gonna get richer, and we're gonna be there riding the coattails, trying to be their employees.
Mhm.
And as much as we try to start our own businesses, uh, it's going to be hard. I don't know how we're going to be able, how us small mom and pops are going to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Am I optimistic about mom and pops? Sure. Give it 10 years. Am I optimistic about mom and pops in the next 5 years? Not given what I've seen. Oh, I remember now. In a conversation I had with one of my friends, one of our favorite Korean barbecue spots was taken over by a fucking Subway.
What?
Subway. Yeah. It was a tiny Korean barbecue shack, like strip kind of thing, with
Yeah.
only about 10 seats on the inside. But it was that, and now it's gone, and Subway took it over, and it opened recently. This was, I think, in Whittier or something.
Mhm.
I'll have to ask him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But seriously, like, if that's not corporate taking over, like if that's not the most American thing you've ever seen, then I don't know what is. It's
Wait,
corporate stomping on like small business.
I, w-
America.
I was thinking about this. Because I guess my one of my friends is more optimistic, and it's probably easier for a white person to be more optimistic about it, like opening up a new restaurant or things like that. But you hit the nail on its head. It's like, who has the money to fill up these spaces, you know
Well,
and
I mean,
like,
did your friend mention access to resources? Because that could change the way that could change my viewpoint.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea that the main idea that he was bringing up is like there will be more places available for a smaller business to come in. Well, but I haven't seen that. Like, I
If
haven't
prices
seen,
go down.
if prices go down, but I haven't seen that in the current space. Like, I would want to see the prices go down so more independent, more local individuals can take up those spaces and create something. But until that happens, until that support comes from either the city, the state, or the county, or like the federal government, if that doesn't happen on that level, then what is my confidence as a citizen that that's going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, post COVID? And I think the big world changing
When
event that happened in the past year that got the restaurant industry where it is right now is this giant thing called COVID. And
Yeah.
and this is uncharted waters, like we mentioned before. I don't know if we have the answers. I think we just speculate because we're so passionate about food, the cultures we come from, the communities we come from, and we wanted to, when they come back, to be coming back better than they were before. If
That's what we would
local
like.
That's
Yeah.
what we like. But if small mom and pop businesses don't do don't have the chance to do that, then who takes over? It's the McDonald's, it's the Burger Kings, it's the Chick-fil-A, it's the Olive Garden. And like I know
I don't think it's them. Olive Garden. Olive Garden. It would be the Olive Gardens. It would be the BJ's. It would be the like not even them. It would be like the Danny Meyer restaurants. You know, the guy's got damn near what I don't actually know his net worth, but I mean he started Shake Shack, so he's probably a billionaire by now.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like the fancy hotels that already have their businesses or their the fancy hotels that already have their savings to open another restaurant. It's
Mm-hmm.
the corporate hotels that can open another corporate hotel within a couple of miles. Um, I don't think we're going to see fast food and mega corporations doing it anytime soon because right now we're in a movement of where they're under a like kind of a microscope and it would be really bad PR for them to do that.
Mm.
But let's say the Sheraton decides to open a Sheraton. No, bad example. Let's say what's one of your favorite restaurants in I don't know the Beverly Hills or West Hollywood or something.
I'm not that worldly, but if I'm going out west, I would say Sajita.
Worldly is 20 miles, man.
Yeah. I'm not as worldly
All
as
right,
you,
fine.
Victor.
Okay, fine.
But
But
Sajita
let's
and
say
Santa Monica. Sajita and Santa Monica.
Sujita,
That's
yeah.
west. Sajita.
So it's
Yeah.
Sujita. Sujita is yeah, they've got the resources necessary to take over like the leases that are now opening up within the next couple of years if no one buys it. And no one else can buy it because no one else has saved up that money.
Mm-hmm.
Because the margins of a restaurant like are so narrow that 3 weeks of business can determine whether or not you're shutting down next week. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's more like this. A good night can determine whether or not you're paying the rent this month.
Right.
That's how slim the margins are for restaurant industry. So, I mean, a place like Sujita, yeah, they a good mid-sized company with what was it? A good mid-sized restaurant group with holdings like that. Yeah, they're going to be the ones that take over these leases.
Mm-hmm.
And the only option that the rest of us are going to have is to work under them. But I mean, given time, anything is optimistic. Like anything, because anything is possible over time. Yeah, I'm optimistic about the long run, like the
Mm-hmm.
long run. It's just not going to be now. Not going to be the
Right.
next 5 years. 10, sure. Because in 10 years, your employees build up their own resources to break away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a new generation is going to start. The
Well,
10-year after COVID generation.
well, let's hope so. Let's really hope so.
Yeah, and we're going to see some amazing food coming out of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Be funny to mark my words at this point, and then it all turns into just burgers.